Hey everyone, welcome back to this ICSE Masterclass Explainer. I'm your host and resident computer applications teacher, and today we're tackling something absolutely foundational for your Class 10 board exams. We're diving deep into Java library classes and wrapper classes. Look, if you're coding in BlueJ and aiming for that perfect 100, understanding exactly how Java handles different data types is just non-negotiable. So let's get right into it and build that core knowledge you need to write flawless code. But first, ICSE aspirants, I've got a quick challenge for you. Can you spot the trap in this classic output prediction question? It's straight out of the sample papers. We've got character.isUppercase with a capital A versus character.uppercase with a lowercase a. They look incredibly similar, right? But the Java compiler treats them entirely differently. Mixing these up is a guaranteed way to throw away easy marks. Keep this specific puzzle on the back of your mind because we're going to solve it together in just a few minutes. Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover primitives versus reference types, wrapper classes explained, autoboxing and unboxing, essential character class methods, parsing and type conversion, and finally, your board exam strategy. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, primitives versus reference types. So you know how Java handles memory, right? It essentially has two completely different ways of dealing with data. First, you have primitive types. These are your built-in raw basic types like int, char, double, and boolean. They're predefined by Java, and they're super simple. They just store a single raw value directly in stack memory. Fast and efficient. But then you have complex or reference types. Think classes, arrays, strings. These are much more complex. Instead of holding just one simple value, they store a memory address, a reference, in the stack, which points to a much larger, more complex chunk of data living over in the heap memory. So primitives are the actual values, while reference types are basically just addresses pointing to objects. Moving right along to Section 2, wrapper classes explained. Java is an object-oriented language. That means a lot of its advanced data structures absolutely require objects to function. But wait, we just established that primitive types are not objects. So what do we do when we desperately need a simple int or a char to act like a full-blown object? Well, we wrap it. A wrapper class is a specially designed class from the default java.lang package that literally wraps around a primitive data type. By putting our simple primitive inside this wrapper, it transforms into a fully functional object. This lets us pass it by reference and unlocks a massive toolkit of built-in methods. Now here's a massive deal for your boards, the capitalization rule. Primitives are always completely lowercase, but wrapper classes, because they are actual classes, they absolutely must start with an uppercase letter. Most of them are pretty obvious, just the capitalized version of the word, like little b byte to capital B byte. But you really need to watch out for two exceptions. The primitive int becomes the full word integer, and char becomes the full word character. Examiners love testing those two, so lock them into your memory right now. Which brings us to Section 3, autoboxing and unboxing. The good news is that you don't always have to write out clunky manual code to convert between these types. Java handles it almost like magic, using autoboxing and unboxing. Autoboxing is just the automatic conversion of a primitive data type directly into its corresponding wrapper class object. Like, if you just assign an int value of 5 to an integer object, Java automatically boxes it up for you behind the scenes. Unboxing is exactly the reverse. It automatically unwraps that object right back into a basic primitive value. It keeps your code super clean, and heads up, it is a massive favorite for Section A definition questions. Real quick, before we jump into the practical coding methods, I want to make sure you have the right resources to practice all this. If you want to absolutely nail these primitive to object conversions, head over to our official Telegram channel at t.me/ICSE_class10_WPIV. We're dropping free daily practice problems and targeted revision notes every single day. It's totally free and honestly the best way to stay sharp before the big day. Okay, let's get into Section 4, Essential Character Class Methods. The character wrapper class is loaded with incredibly useful tools, but I want you to notice the naming pattern here. Is letter, is digit, is white space. Whenever a method starts with the word is, you are basically interrogating the Java compiler. You're asking, hey, is this character a digit, or is it a blank space? And because you're asking a strict yes or no question, these methods will always, with zero exceptions, return a Boolean data type. You're only ever getting a true or a false. And here is where we solve our tricky board trap from earlier. The absolute key is distinguishing between checking a character's state using is versus actively converting the character using to. So if you write character.isUpperCase, you're asking a question. The compiler checks, sees that A is indeed uppercase, and gives you back the Boolean true. But if you write character.upperCase, that's a command. The method takes that lowercase a, transforms it, and returns the primitive char value of capital A. Confusing the Boolean return of an is method with the char return of a to method is literally the #1 trap students fall into. Don't be one of them. All right, Section 5, Parsing and Type Conversion. So when you're coding in BlueJ, user input usually comes in as a text string, but you obviously can't do math on a word, right? Parsing is how we extract a usable mathematical number out of a string literal. Think of it as a 3-step flow. Step 1, you have a string, let's say 1, 2, 3 inside double quotes. Step 2, you feed it into a parsing method like integer.parseInt. Step 3, the method strips away all those string properties and outputs a pure primitive int of 1, 2, 3. Now you can actually use it for your calculations. And every single numeric wrapper class has its own parsing method, following the exact same syntax. Want an int? Use integer.parseInt. Need a double? It's double.parseDouble. You absolutely have to memorize these for the programming section, especially when you're dealing with command line arguments or scanner inputs. Let's bring it all home with Section 6, Board Exam Strategy. Okay, let's lock in those top marks. Here are your golden rules to avoid examiner traps. First, always double-check your return types. Remember our is versus to rule? Second, and this is a huge syntax trap, never mix up your quotes. Single quotes are strictly for primitive chars, while double quotes are for string objects. A capital A in single quotes and a capital A in double quotes are processed completely differently by Java. And third, keep in mind that Java uses pass by value for primitive types, meaning it just creates a copy of the value, but it uses pass by reference for objects, meaning it points right back to that original memory address in the heap. Hey, if this explainer cleared things up for you, before I give you your final challenge, make sure to hit that subscribe button for the ICSE MasterClass YouTube channel. We're building a massive, structured library to guide you step-by-step to 100 out of 100 in computer applications. So subscribe, join the community, and let's crush these exams together. All right, time to prove what you've learned. Here is an actual, real-world board exam question for you. We have two strings, 56.0 and 94.0, both being passed through double.parseDouble with a plus sign sitting right in the middle. So what's going to happen? Are they going to concatenate like text or add together mathematically? Think carefully about the data types and drop your predicted exact output in the comments below. I want to see who gets it right. Take your time, keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.